Imagine living in a world where danger lurks behind every rock, where your ability to hear the snap of a twig or the growl of a predator is the difference between life and death. In such a world, even the smallest injury could be fatal. Now imagine you're not just injured, you're blind in one eye, partially deaf, missing an arm, and your legs are so damaged that every step sends pain shooting through your body. That's not just hardship, that's a death sentence in the Paleolithic world. And yet, one man survived it all. We don't know his real name, but scientists call him Shanidar I. His bones were found high in the rugged Zagros mountains of northern Iraq, deep inside a cave that had witnessed millennia of history. This cave, silent and untouched by time, became the final resting place for not just one, but several Neanderthals. But it was Shanidar I who stood out, not for his strength, but for his scars. His skeleton tells a story not of dominance, but of endurance, not of conquest, but of compassion. It all started in 1957. A team of archaeologists led by Ralph Selecki ventured into Shanidar Cave expecting to find what most digs in the region had offered: a few stone tools, perhaps some ancient animal bones. What they discovered instead would reshape our understanding of what it means to be human. Layered deep within the sediment were the remains of at least 10 Neanderthals. Some were fragmented, others were partial, but one, labeled Shanidar I, was nearly complete. thought he was worth saving anyway. That decision, made 40,000 years ago in a cave, might be the first recorded moment of long-term empathy in our species' history. A choice not to abandon the weak, a choice to love the broken. This story of survival doesn't stop with a list of injuries. It doesn't end at "he lived." It goes deeper, stretching into the very roots of what it means to be human. Because when you strip away technology, strip away medicine, strip away language and culture, what are you left with? Bones, scars, and choices. Choices made by people who had nothing to gain by helping someone who couldn't hunt, couldn't fight, couldn't walk without limping. And they chose to help anyway. That's the part that still echoes through time. Not just the survival of one man, but the collective decision by a group to carry him forward. In a world that was already brutal, already unforgiving, every extra mouth to feed mattered. Every delay could mean the difference between life and death. And yet, they slowed down. They waited for him. They likely carried him when he couldn't walk. They hunted more to make up for what he couldn't bring back. And they did it over and over again, for years. This wasn't a single act of kindness. This was a lifetime of commitment. And so, we begin to see Shanidar one not as a victim of circumstance, but as a mirror reflecting the emotional depth of his community. His bones tell a story of connection, of a tribe that didn't just see him as a burden, but accepted him as one of their own. That's not survival of the fittest. That's something else, something stronger. Survival of the kindest. Even today, with our modern medicine and hospitals, we often struggle to offer this level of care to people who need help long term. We value productivity, independence, and strength. But Shanidar, one's life, reminds us that care isn't about efficiency, it's about humanity. He likely required help every single day. Help getting food, help staying warm, help moving from one camp to another. And yet, his injuries were not fresh. His bones had been healing for years, meaning the people around him kept showing up, day after day. The same site show similar signs of care. Some show signs of burial practices, carefully placed stones, floral remains, evidence of intentional placement. One individual even seems to have been laid to rest on a bed of flowers. Not food, not weapons, flowers. What kind of mind does that? What kind of heart? Maybe they mourned, maybe they remembered, maybe they stood in silence and said goodbye. It's hard not to draw parallels to us. We still lay flowers at graves. We still sit in silence beside the dying. We still help those who can't walk, can't speak, can't feed themselves. The only difference is we have stretchers and nurses and hospitals. They had caves, firelight, and one another. And still, they managed. That kind of care isn't primitive. It's profound. And the deeper you go into Shanidar One's life, the more questions arise. How did they organize their group to account for him? Who helped him on icy nights when the cold cut through even the thickest hides? Who hunted for him when his legs gave out? Did they sit with him when he was in pain? Did he tell stories? Did the children laugh at his side, even as he limped and listened in silence? We'll never know for sure. But the fact that he was there, that he didn't disappear into the snow or vanish after his first injury, tells us that he belonged. They made sure he did. And maybe that's what separates humans. Not strength, not speed, not tools, but the refusal to abandon each other. Shanidar One didn't just survive, he was allowed to survive. He was helped to survive. And because of that, he left behind more than bones. He left behind a challenge to see past our assumptions, to look deeper, to remember that every life, no matter how damaged, no matter how broken, has value. Because 40,000 years ago, a group of Neanderthals with no written language, no cities, no science, and no gods still chose to love. And maybe that's the most human thing of all.